Hi guys, it's DeAnn, Dillard, Real Estate Success Podcast, and today is a super special one. We have my good friend, the one and only Gogo Bethke here with us. Gogo has created an empire through social media and teaches other agents to create seven-figure income. She's grown a team of over 700 agents in her organization. She's got several boot camps teaching hundreds of agents. And it's no wonder she's been dubbed the queen of social media. Gogo, thanks for being here today.
Well, thank you so much for having me today. Sorry that I don't look as pretty as you do. It's one of those rough days, but I like to honor my appointments, right? So I'm still here. I just did not have the energy to put makeup on, but the knowledge is in my head, so I brought
it. That's right. That's what matters. And I feel super privileged that I get the raw you. This could be called Gogo in the raw.
It is. This is how God made me, right?
That's right. Yeah, like you said, it matters what's up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been following you for years. I'm the type of person who likes to find successful people doing what I want to do, and then I literally just copy them. And I'm not trying to, right? I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm like, you already did that. What are you doing? And years ago, I just started watching you and seeing your social grow, and then just going, well, I could do that. Well, I could do that. And just seeing you really blossom. So it's been incredible. Thanks for sharing all that stuff out there.
Yeah, that is my favorite thing. You know, the quote that says that you can have absolutely anything in life, the more people you help to get what they want. So this is what I enjoy doing, right? Like real estate is not a walk in a park. You're a little bit on my end.
Yeah, I can hear a little echo on your end.
It's my end? Why would I echo, I wonder?
I don't know. It's not.
Yeah, I don't have it playing anywhere else but my laptop. So, you know, helping others is my favorite thing to do because real estate is not that simple, right? It's pretty cutthroat. And I remember getting into it and I really didn't have the help, right? It was the closed door policy when I was with Real Estate One, and then I went to Keller, and then I came to EXP. At EXP is a different policy, but the other brokerages, sadly, my experience was that every agent just kind of guards, you know, their information because it's their slice of the pie. And if they help you, right, you become the competition. So that was my experience. So I always brought, as I like to call it, the good, bad, and the ugly of real estate on my social media. And I think that's what grew my account to where it's at. And also the more people I help, the more God pays me, right?
100%. So tell us, not everybody on here is with EXP. So tell us your story and how you got started in real estate.
Yeah, so I started in 2011. I came to the US in 2003. So you hear it from my accent. I'm originally from Romania, Transylvania. I'm Hungarian by nationality. I came to the US all by myself. I didn't know a single human being. That was in 2003. I met my husband 2 months after I got to the US. I came as an au pair or living nanny.
Wow.
And then I met my husband right away, and we've been married ever since. So I met him 2 months after that. I moved in 2 months after that. We were married. So I've known him for less than 4 months and married him. And, you know, when you know, we've been happily married now for 18 years. We have 2 kids. They're 14 and 12.
Well, that worked out.
Yeah, it worked out just fine. And so that's that. And then I did all kinds of odd jobs. And then in 2011, so we are talking, 8 years after I came to the US, I got licensed in real estate. It wasn't even my idea. My neighbor who lives down a couple of doors down from us, she is the marketing director for a title company here locally, and she thought I would make a good realtor. So it's her fault. It's not even my idea. And I went and got licensed. She introduced me to a company called Real Estate One, and they interviewed me, and they said that if I would pass, they would even pay for my license. So they did. So my investment by far is $0 into real estate. I got reimbursed for my course with my first closing. They paid me back. And I stayed with Real Estate One for 7.5 years. I was a top producer. It was a rough start at first. I made $16,000 in my first year. So don't get too excited. You might just check out, right, and be like, 16 grand, I'm out of here, right? Like, why am I listening to that? Why am I listening to this girl? But fast forward 11 years. And this year, last year was my first year. Then I made over $1 million. This year, multiple millions. So if you want to stay on and listen on, it's worth it. I promise. Yeah.
You came as an au pair from Romania?
Yeah.
Correct? Yeah. By yourself?
Yeah. I don't have anyone in this country that's related to me.
How old were you?
21.
Who does that?
I'm crazy person, right?
Right, right.
Not only that I didn't know anyone, but I barely spoke English. I thought I
Oh my
spoke
God.
pretty good English, but we learn British English in Europe, right? So it's the
Mhm.
proper English. So we don't say how are you, we say how do you do, and we don't say water, we say water, right?
Right.
So it's like I learned, and the slang is totally, there is no really as much slang as it is here in the US. So it was not my level of English. It's probably maybe 5 to 10% of what I know today is what I knew when I got here.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. It takes a lot for a 21-year-old girl who doesn't speak English to move to another country.
Well, you don't know anyone and you don't have any money, no college education, no sphere, right? And then you get into sales, even better. How to? I don't know anyone, right? But you just kind of you figure it out. I'm the sorest loser you ever meet. So whatever I'm doing is like I'm doing it full force or not doing it at all. So we'll figure it out.
And then your neighbor said, hey, you should be a real estate agent, right?
Yeah, and I thought, what a great idea because I watched HGTV all day long.
I
I
can
was
do
at
it.
home at the time with the kids. So I was like, how hard can it be?
You
They
know
should.
what's funny? Yeah, is I had a friend of mine, also same situation 11, 12 years ago, say, hey, I was a single mom, and he said you should get your headshot taken and become a real estate agent, put your head on signs and you'll do great. That's how I got into real estate. So
Yeah, because all you need to do is just get a
yeah,
yard sign and shove it in someone's yard.
I actually went back years later and thanked him. I was like, hey, thanks for that tip. Now I'm, living my best life just
Yeah.
because, yeah, somebody told me that. So,
Yeah, same here. It was not my idea, but I was thinking, I'm like, that's a good idea. Why
mm,
not? Why not do that, right? Why not go and get licensed in real estate and work part time? So I started out very part time. I stayed home with the kids all day because my husband was working and we could not afford for me to get a sitter so I can work during the day. So I stayed home and I still work from my laptop and stuff, right? If I posted on my Facebook and stuff like that, if I had to schedule appointments, I would say, I'm so sorry, I'm booked all day, but I have the evening open and I have the weekends open, right? Because I had to wait until my husband got home. So there were many days where literally I was ready, fully dressed, laptop in my bag on my arm hanging, and I was waiting for him to open the door so I can hand him the
run
baby,
out.
right? And then he walked in and I walked out. So that's pretty much how we did it in the first few years until we were able to, afford an easier way of doing things.
Sure. So you're at Real Estate One, and you make 16,000 your first year.
Yeah, I doubled my income pretty much every year. So the second year I made 36, I think. Then the third year I made 74, and then I made 156, and then I made 430, and then I made. So it just went on and on and on.
And you're like, I made it, right? After you doubled your income, you're probably thinking, I made it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then you double it again. You're like, oh my gosh. I remember the first time I asked the universe, the whole mind power thing. I asked the universe for $150,000. I learned two things from that. I made 156 that year. So the first thing I learned, I'm like, holy shit, this works, right?
Yep.
I'm like, oh my God. Give it out to the universe, and the universe.
It happens. It comes back to you. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, I made 156. This works. And then I was like, why didn't I ask for 300?
So the next year, right? You double again.
Or $1 million.
Yes.
Or $2 million, right? Like, why do you limit yourself? We all live, I read this quote, we all live in a cage with the doors wide open.
Isn't that the truth? The world is your oyster.
We create that cage, right? You tell the universe of like, I think this is what I'm worth.
Yeah.
This is how much I want to make. This is how much I want to put up with. This is what I think, right? Versus why don't you think bigger, or why do you limit yourself to whatever? Even if that number to you this year, let's say it's $300,000, right? And that excites you. Wouldn't 600 excite you just as much, or maybe even more? Why didn't I ask for 600? Why didn't I ask for $1 million?
So the opportunities are endless.
Endless. It's just how much you believe in yourself, right? Whatever you tell yourself is what you're worth, is what you're going to believe that you can or cannot have.
Yeah, I think with real estate agents, that's one of the biggest obstacles is they don't think big enough, right? I hear all the time, I want to make $100,000. I want to make $100,000 this year. And like you said, why not $1 million? It may take some time to get there, but if you're shooting for that, you're gonna make more every time.
Yeah. It's unbelievable what we are able to do in this country, especially.
Exactly. So you're at Real Estate One for a while. You're doing good. When did it click for you that social media was something that would help you grow your business?
So social media was always my thing. It never so said click. That was the only thing that I had.
Okay.
So when I joined Real Estate One, I interviewed all the top producing agents. Like I have zero shame. Like I knock on your door and ask you, hey, DeAnn, how you're a top producing agent in the office. How do you do it? How come? Right. And then I'm just sitting there with a blank face and with my little notebook and just shut up and take notes. Right. So I did that with everybody in the office. And I realized that all of the things that they were doing, I wasn't willing to do or I couldn't afford it. So buying Zillow leads, I couldn't afford it, nor would I do it. It's against my religion. Doing like door knocking, I'm 5'2" little blondie, not happening. Cold calling, my name is Gogo and I have an accent, not happening, right? I can't not beg someone for their business. I've never cold called in my life. So I went through all of those things, right? And then I realized this is what it takes. I interviewed top producers, right? So I was like, this is what it takes to be a top producer. Yep. I have to do that, or I have to find another avenue that I can pull similar numbers with, then I can do. So it feels like it's in my nature, right? And I also can afford. Because the other thing was to, buy those leads from like the third-party companies and stuff. They literally just spoon-feed it to you. Right. But I just didn't, I don't know. I never wanted to spend money to make money. I always like to find a way to do it myself without having to spend money. I'm allergic to spending money. And so I figured out, I said, okay, Facebook is the only thing that I can. The other thing that I had going against me, back to the conversation, is that I had no sphere.
Right.
At least you can be like, I just hit up my college friends and I just hit up my cousins and I just hit up I don't have any of that. Who am I going to hit up? I didn't know anyone. I came here as an adult, right? So I didn't go to college here. I had no co-workers and I worked with the kids that I grew up on the same street with. None of that. So I was like, who is really my audience? And it was like strangers. The strangers on Facebook.
Yep.
So I went to Facebook. I created Gogo's Real Estate as a business page. And from day one, I've been doing everything on Gogo's Real Estate. And I just kind of shared. I took the end user on a ride of real estate of what it's like, right, to be a realtor, like starting out as a broke realtor and where I'm at today. And that's always been our bread and butter. Even now that I have a small team in the state of Michigan, I'm no longer in production. I run a small team here in the state of Michigan. That was my goal for 2021, and I almost reached it. My goal was to not do a single deal, and I did one person. Nice. Hopefully this year is the year, right? But we still pulled the same amount of numbers with one agent. So I pretty much just spoon-fed all of my organically generated lead to that one agent, and we did the same amount of numbers than I did the year before. So nothing changed. It's just then I fed it to somebody else to do the extra work.
Okay, that's incredible. When you're talking about that you always started with social media, I don't mind cold calling. I love cold calling, but I actually built my business on presence, more like with farming and signs. And then I got into social media, and it works so well. But I hear from agents, you kind of touched on like you had no sphere, you wouldn't cold call, you're not buying leads, right? I hear that one too is, oh, I need leads from the team leader or whatever. So I always say they're
wrong. Clancy she closed 38 deals in her first year with me, and she brought 2.
Wow.
Right? So her literally spoon-fed her 36, and I didn't pay for a single lead.
That's incredible.
They're all organic, and they all come to us. But because they come to us, right, she doesn't need to know scripts, so she doesn't need to cold call. They're literally what we call gimmies. Right. We're like, hey, Gogo, we're having a baby. We need a bigger house. Hey, Gogo, my husband got a new job moving out of state. Can you sell this one? Do you know anybody in Georgia that can help us find a house? Like, that's my business. Always been like that. They always come to me. I've never had a listing presentation. I never needed
it. You don't have to because they already know you, right? They feel like they know you.
Yeah. And so that was my goal. And everything that I teach in my boot camps and stuff is to build a brand solid enough where they know who you are. They already trust you before you step the foot in on the door. So you don't ever have to beg for a job or interview for a job. When they call me, when I go out to the appointment, I already know that I'm listing that house. I just need to bring docs with me and tell them if they need to do anything prior to going live, right? So it's a different way of building business. But if you put me on a for sale by owner call, I would just tell them,
yeah, so there's always another way, right? I feel like there's 20 ways to make money in this business, right? Just pick something. So for those who don't want to cold call and don't want to door knock and call FSBOs, I say just go ham on your social media. And I feel like it's so hard for people. I think the fear of video, the fear of putting their face out there.
I did a quote on that. I thought it was probably one of my quotes that did the best on my profile. And it said this: I know it's uncomfortable to go on camera, but it's way more uncomfortable to be broke.
Heck yeah. Right?
I'd rather go on camera and Joe Schmo over there can make fun of me all day long as there's money in my bank account.
Did you ever have a fear of going live or taking selfies or any of that? No?
No. I think it's because it's kind of sad and happy. You know, I went to UPW, Tony Robbins, and it's kind of like, it's called UPW. It's called Unleash the Power Within. I think you'd go to Tony too, right?
Yes. Yeah, I was there.
Yeah. And so the very, very first time, now, mind you, this is like 7 years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, something like that. My parents never told me they love me. I come from Eastern Europe. It's tough love. If I got anything, it was like a shluck, a load. If I did something, like I never got the positive. So, and I needed that. At least I thought I needed that as a child. I was always craving them to tell me that they're proud of me or that they love me or things like that. But what I learned through the years of my childhood is that well, first of all, you wouldn't be who you are today if you didn't go through all of that, right?
Right.
But what I learned from that is I had to learn to love myself, because that was the only reliable source of love. Because I knew I'm not going to get it from my parents. It's just not what they do and how they do it, right? So because I had to learn to love myself, it kind of overflow into my business life where I'm like, I don't care about your opinion. I love me, right? So if you love me, good. If not, that's not my business. But I also say it in another way, is that I'm going to start caring about your opinion as soon as I can deposit it into my bank account.
Good one. I love that.
I always had this attitude, right? Your opinion doesn't feed my kids. Your opinion will not send my child to college, and it doesn't pay for our second home in Florida. It doesn't retire me at age 40, right? If I can retire on your opinion, then please give it to me every day. Call me at 8 in the morning. But other than that, I don't care. I just don't. I never have. And your people are your people, right? So if somebody loves you for who you are, they're going to love you for who you are, and nobody is going to be able to take them away, because you're going to form that relationship. And that's what I have built a business on. I built a business on relationships. When you allow them to get to know you, they will trust you. When they trust you, they'll buy anything you sell.
100%. And you do that through social media, is that they believe that they know, like, and trust you, because they see you doing all kinds of things all day long, not just here's my open house or whatever. It's regular day-to-day stuff.
Yeah. So I take them on the ride, right? I take them on the ride of, like, if we go back to my Gogo's Real Estate back in 2011 when I got licensed, oh my God, only knows what's on there, right? Like, it's an evolution. You kind of learn as you're pushing those buttons, and as your business is growing, you just kind of learn of how that applies to day-to-day life. And then if you open up that book of business and you allow people to come along for the ride, they can grow with you. They're learning as you're learning, especially if you share your knowledge. Then over time, they will trust you because you have helped them over time.
Exactly. So on that note, what do you think agents should be doing? We're in a new year, 2022. What should we be concentrating on for social media?
So short videos, long videos don't work anymore. You know, the IGTV style videos, they used to be the thing because Instagram was them. But now reels are more of a thing, and reels are a minute, and it's a vertical, not horizontal. Also, videos that you and me are doing right here, like these interview styles where you have letters and it's an interview setting. Even though I share them on my page just because the knowledge that I share is so good, right? But those videos do not do good. So if you're doing it to grow your account, forget it. It wouldn't work.
Right.
Also, all of the silly things, in my opinion, all of the reels where you like doing these things and pointing at things, and
yes,
it's cute, but it's not going to make you money, right? So I guess, what is their end goal? Like, now what I do today to what I did 5 years ago is so different. Now I have a TC company, and I have a title company, and I have a VA company, and I have 2 different boot camps, and I have a local team in Michigan, and I have Team Gogo, which is our international team, and I have 9 businesses all together. How I use my Instagram, and I go on podcasts and public speaking events and all of these things, it's very different than when I just used to sell real estate.
Right.
All right. So I guess it's a loaded question of, depending what your end goal is, I can kind of walk you through it. What are some of the things that you need to do? Right. So if you're the everyday agent that is chasing that next commission, you can't just have a website that has a live IDX, as every freaking website has a live IDX. You have to have a lead capturing ability. Most websites will allow you to capture their information if and when they typed it in. But people
Mhm.
are getting smarter. They're not freaking going to type in their name and email address and phone number.
Right.
They're going to give you a 1-800 number and a fake email address, right?
Mhm.
Or as I like to call it, the coupon email address, right? We all have a coupon email address.
Yeah, right.
So you have to get really good at capturing information. You're actually in the data business, right? So the more leads you can generate, and whatever the highest your churn rate is, where you can turn a cold lead into a client and get to the closing rate table, right? And then you can mess with the price range that you're going in. So I give you a couple of things. So number one, you have to have a website that has a live ideas, but most importantly, you have to have one that's called a lead capturing ability, which our KV Core, we do that. At EXP, you get it. It's in your monthly membership. If you're not EXP and you don't want to come over to EXP, then just look up KV Core. It's the letter K, the letter V, and then Core. I don't know how much they charge when you're an outsider, but it's worth every penny, in my opinion. So we have a schedule that we post. So my team has to post a certain schedule. So every Monday, they post a listing. Every Tuesday, they post one of our listings. Every Wednesday, search for homes. Every Thursday, open houses. These are the open houses in Livingston County. And then every Friday, how much your home is worth. Saturdays and Sundays, they do open houses. So they usually go live or they post the actual link to open house or things like that. So that's our weekly posting schedule. We don't post to post. We post to capture your information. So I know who's on the market for the next home or who's on the market that wants to sell, right? So with that being said, you have to have a lead capturing. So that's number one. Number two, answer me this, DeAnn. If you were to post a $200,000 house, what kind of buyers are you going to find?
$200,000 buyers.
And if you post $1 million house, what are you going to find?
$1 million buyers.
And is the work the same, or you work way more for the $1 million listing than you work on the 200,000?
It's pretty much the same.
Is the commission the same?
Not at all.
Correct. So let me get this straight. So you can do the same exact work here and make $6,000, or you can do the same exact freaking work here and make $30,000. Which one would you do?
Absolutely. The $30,000 all day.
All day, honey. All day, right? So what I'm trying to say with this is when you are posting, you have to realize you don't post to post. You post with the end result in mind. So you need to know who's your target audience, what you want to specialize in, or what do you already specialize in. And those are the stuff that you post. If you post a $40,000 vacant land, you're going to find a $40,000 buyer for a vacant land.
Right.
You're going to do the same amount of work than you would have done here for 30 grand for 1,200.
Yep.
Right? Just not the same. So that's in your control. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is work smarter, not harder. Right? So for me, it's not, most agents, when I ask them what's their goal, it's like, I want to double. I'm like, why? Because you want to work twice as hard next year than you work this year? Is that is that your goal? Right? No, that's not our goal. We want to make twice as much money, not work twice as hard, at least. Please tell me. I hope I should work twice as hard, right? So you always have to know your end goal of where the heck you're going. And then I do what's called the reverse engineering and break it down. What is that going to take me to get there? Most agents don't know where they're going.
Right.
It's like, I want to make money.
Yep.
$1 is money. You're going to make $1. So having your goal, your end result of how much money you want to make, and then work backwards from there of how many transactions that is for you. In order to do that, you have to know your average price range, right? Your average commission.
Yes.
We're going to, let's say you said you want to make 150,000. I'm going to say, okay, DeAnn, what's your average commission?
20,000.
Oh, that's going to be simple. So you're going to do like 7 deals and you're done, right? You're going to be like, okay, do a deal a month for the next 7 months and take 5 months off.
That would be lovely.
Right?
It is lovely. Yeah.
Your price range, because your price range is so high, right? But for me, where our average price range is 274,000 in our neck of the woods, my commissions are not 20 grand. Right? So now I have to do 3 times as much work than you do to make the same amount of money. So now I have options, right? I could be like, well, I want to be like DeAnn when I grow up. I want to do 7 deals for 150, not 3 times 7 and 21 deals for 150. So you just have to play with the numbers. But in order to know that, you need to know your numbers. So that's what I would concentrate on is if you want to do social media, you have to have a schedule and you don't post to post, right? You're going to post things that you actually work in that price range or you cover that area. You have a website that has lead capturing ability because otherwise you're posting to post. And then the last one is you need to know where the heck you're going, right? So otherwise you're on a treadmill. You're definitely running, but you're going nowhere. That's it.
Yeah, that's gold. Thank you. So speaking of that treadmill, I We've all been on that treadmill, right? You're at
I'm still on it. Don't get me wrong. I sound all fancy, but if I show you my schedule, it is a treadmill. But at
yeah,
least it's going somewhere, right?
but it's a different treadmill.
It's a different. It's a
yeah,
different.
exactly.
Yeah.
Mine looks very similar. You're probably a little bit more organized than me. I know you stick to your schedule.
Yes, that's why I'm here today, looking like this, but I'm here.
You're here. But when you're on that transaction treadmill, right? You're doing well, you're doubling your transactions. You get to that point where like you're at 30, 40 transactions, and the goal really isn't to do one more transaction, right? You're like, I need one more transaction. The goal is freedom, right? So I know that you went from being a successful agent over at KW and then moving and creating an empire and freedom for your family. So when did that switch come where it was like, oh, I need to sell more real estate, or, oh, I need to create freedom?
Yeah. So I went again, Tony.
Tony does it every time.
I know you changed my life. Every time I make money, I'm like,
agree.
I should just send Tony a check.
Yeah.
So I went to Business Mastery. So after UPW, I went to Business Mastery. And I thought I was all that in a bag of chips, right? Because that year I made $430,000, and I was like, I'm an immigrant. I have no college education. Like, how much more money can someone make, right? And I walked out of there realizing that so millionaires, right? They have multiple revenues of income, and they only trade their time for one. So I was trading my time like about 24/7. Like maybe I slept 6-7 hours, but other than that, I was working. That year I did 52 deals myself. And then I realized that all of my money was in one basket. It was the commissions basket.
Yes.
So not only when I left from there, not only then I already knew that I need to have multiple sources of income, but I also knew that I need to have passive income. Because no matter how good you are, at 52 deals, that was my absolute max I can do without losing my, excuse my French, still liking people and not leaving real estate altogether, right? But also be able to spend time with my friends and family and go home to Romania every summer for 6 weeks and go on spring breaks and not constant like, yes, I'm on vacation, but I'm doing this the whole time.
Yeah.
Like that's not vacation, right? So I needed to figure out that part where I can make money in my sleep. I like to call it horizontal money because you're horizontal while you're making it. And so I had two goals from there. I had the goal of having multiple revenues of income, and I had the second goal of having passive income, right? Which will remove me from the roller coaster of real estate, where 1 month you sell 5 homes and then you're unemployed, and then 1 home and then 6 homes, and then, you're constantly riding this like up and down. So I wanted to have something that comes in like here every single month. So even if I don't sell real estate this month or something happens, like break a leg, right? I still have money coming in. Because I was 100% of my business. Plus, I was trading time for money. No matter how good you are, there's only one of you and only 24 hours in a day. Yes. So you cannot possibly do more. At that time, my average price range was 414. Locally is 274. So I was already at the higher end. I live in a community called Pinckney, Michigan. It's tiny. Like we have 9,000 people. We have like one gated community. So like the luxury market, my next step would have been to break into a higher end community, right? Make more money working less transactions. Well, we have like 200 homes, and there's already 200 agents that market that area.
Exactly.
Right? So I'm like, it would have been, and at that time, the luxury home stayed on the market a minimum of 6 months. So yes, I would have made a higher commission, but every 6 months.
Yes.
Like, no, thank you. Right. So I had to figure out a way. So then I knew it was time for me to leverage and make more of me. So then we multiply a bunch of little Gogos, then we go and then do more, right, together. So that's how the team started. So Gogo's real estate team, I started it at Real Estate One. So back in 2017, it was my first team, kind of just winging it, right? Like, what do I know? I don't even know what I don't know. And then that team came over. I had 3 agents on the team. That team came over with me to Keller, and then no, one didn't come over to Keller at all. The other 2 that came over left me on the same day.
On the same day they came over?
Not the same day they came over, but when they left me on the same day.
Oh, they were like, we're out.
So suddenly I didn't have a team.
Oh no.
Right? Okay. Suddenly I was like, oh shit, I'm it.
So you're putting you had everything in your commission basket, and then you have to pivot and you're putting it in your team basket, right?
Yeah, and then there's no team. So
then there wasn't a team.
And then there's me again, right? But these are like growing pains, and these are the fun ones looking back of like, well, yeah, I learned something from that, right? But when you do it, you do it right. So now we have an official team at EXP. It's called Gogo's Real Estate Team. It's a registered team. We have a team contract. I strongly recommend to have every possible scenario in a contract, right? I had an agent who's no longer with us. I very happily let her go. I gave her 3 listings. In the middle of the listings, the seller became an asshole, excuse my French, and she decided to throw in the towel and not follow through, but still wanted half of her commission. So guess what my contract says now? You only get paid if you follow through. You only get paid if you follow through. You don't get paid if I have to finish up the work, right? So, but that's how you learn. So today I feel like we have a very solid contract. I had one team on my team last year. That was our first year together. She did 38 deals in her first year. 2 she brought, 36 I gave her.
Nice.
We did it on a buyer's agent because most of our deals were on listing side. So, and all this is organic, right? I haven't spent a single penny on deals. This is all that comes to me organically because I was ready or done, I should say, with doing transactions, but I didn't want to let the deals that organically come to me, just kind of let them go, right? So then Clancy did all of those. We did most of those on the listing side. So which then tells me that we need a buyer's agent who can work the open houses, get the buyers off of our own listing. So then we added a buyer's agent and her name is Carrie. And that's it. We'll see how this year goes, but I think we're going to close. We have 7 pending this month. So I think we are going to close about 75 this year. So that's just kind of, I've never had the idea that I want to have like a mega icon team. That was never my, my intention. So pretty much what I do, everything is organic. My goal is to leverage, right? Not walk away from things because I don't want to do it anymore, but figure out a way how to do that. So I feel like it's a well-oiled machine and it's working very, very well. They're doing all their deals on their own. I very seldom get, like we have a Monday morning meeting when I'm up to date of each of the deals weekly, right? But other than that, I'm not in the day-to-day. Yeah, so that pretty much works without me, and that was my goal. And then when I came over to EXP, I love this industry, and I love talking about the good, bad, and the ugly, what's working, what's not working, right? And I love to partner with agents that have the same mindset, and now we get to do it together, and that's what EXP allowed us to do. With my local team, I could have only grown it locally, right? And no matter how badass yes I am, we could have maybe got to 12 agents and we would have been like, oh my gosh, we're the biggest team here, right?
Right.
Population of 9,000, like come on, like, it's just not doable, right? And with what EXP allows us to do, this way I can have my cake and eat it too. I can have that local team and remove myself from production and give myself more time and have that passive income now. But then it also allows me with my reach on social media to now partner with agents that I would have not been able to do if I stayed at Real Estate One or Keller, right? And it allows us to partner with agents from any state in the US and 18 different countries. So that portion of my business, it's called Team Gogo. There's 742 agents in that organization. We are in 40 different states and in 18 different countries. 18 countries at EXP, where we are in 4 of those 18.
Awesome.
So it allowed me to take a local team, right, where I take a cut and I'm the team lead and all that, to an international team where I'm not the team lead, I'm a business partner. When I don't take a cut unless I literally refer them that lead. And everybody, we are just, we call it the international family, the Team Gogo international family of agents. We just do things together, but there is a financial benefit to that, right? Which we call revenue share at EXP. So revenue share, I can't tell you the number, but I can tell you it was 4 times my real estate team income.
4 times your revenue share.
Yes, I just did the numbers from the meeting just before you. So that's why I know. So rev share income this year to me was 4 times my real estate commission income that I received off of the team.
That's pretty incredible. And you get to partner with people all over the world. And it's a different model, right? Like you're providing all this value to these people and in turn helping them grow their business, which helps you create this other stream of income.
Yeah, the way I looked at it is I usually close between 4 to 7 deals a month, right? So if I'm pulling that, I can pull that for the rest of my life. I know how to do that, right? I feel comfortable in those numbers. I can do it with my eyes closed. I can do that, or I can help 742 close 1.
Wow, that's a way to look at it right there.
And that doesn't mean they're closing 1, right? We have many icon agents. They did, Tiffany and her husband did 95 deals. Yasmin and that. So we have agents business partners from any caliber, agents that are brand thinking you have never sold a house, and then we have agents that are icon agents, right? So then you get to help others and you get to like do this thing together.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. Well, I want to respect your time. If you could leave one bit of wisdom for agents out there, what would it be?
Okay, build your own brand. Because if not, you will have to rely on the third-party companies for the rest of your life to buy leads. I know exactly where my leads are coming from. I built it. Right? And it's built around me. And think of it this way. Any of the names that you know in the industry or any industry, like for example, Gary Vee. What do you see on his posts? Do you see wine? That's what he used to sell. No, you see Gary Vee. And Grant Cardone. Do you see, he actually sells real estate, right? And he sells you the opportunity to invest into his real estate opportunities or to buy his courses. What do you see on his page?
Grant Cardone.
You see Grant Cardone. What do you see on Tony Robbins? What do you see on Oprah? What do you see, right? What do we all sell? We don't sell real estate, guys. We sell ourselves and our services. So if you are not on your social media, you are not building your own brand, and you're going to be a dinosaur, and you're going to have two options. You're going to be out of business, or you're going to be buying leads to stay in business, and you're not going to make nearly as much profit as you could if you just built it organically. Who am I kidding? You're not even going to be close to what I make based on deals versus what most agents do because of the cost of doing business.
I love that. Yeah, I 100% agree. That's what I tell people all the time. Build your own brand, because people want to work with you. They do not care who your broker is or what broker logo you have behind you. They care about you as a person.
I did actually that research. So before I came over, because think of it, I stayed from 2011 until 2018. I stayed with Real Estate One. And then I switched to Keller in 18. And then in end of 18, I switched to EXP. So in 18, I was with 3 brokerages.
Wow.
Right? Like I stayed with Real Estate One for 7.5 years, but I switched in February of 18 to Keller. In October of 18 to EXP. So in that 8 months, right? So I was like, when I was even playing with the idea of EXP, I'm like, what are my clients going to say? Like, can I just stick them out somewhere, right? Like I just switched to Keller. Like here am I thinking about switching again. But here's what I did. For all of the agents that you think, right, that it's so important what brand and what brand umbrella you work under. Okay, it's important to us because they made us drink the Kool-Aid long enough, so we feel like we have to belong somewhere, right? Or we're not going to get these leads. Number one question: how many leads did they give you? How many leads did that brand, that umbrella, right? Those letters or whatever you put behind your broker or name. How many leads did they give you last year? Right? Do that math, because you brought those leads. I guarantee you they didn't give it to you.
How much of that money are you keeping after they give you that lead?
Exactly. You can go buy a Zillow lead if it's a 50-50 split, right?
Right.
Yeah, but that's not the point. The other point is this. When I switched over, I was like, okay, how important is it? Like, I know the importance of a brokerage and the brand behind us, but do our clients know, or do they care? So I sent a text message to my active clients. I had 7 active listings when I switched over and 9 pending. I sent a text message to all of them. So all of those 16, right? And all I said, just out of the blue, who's my broker? Many responded and said, you are.
Oh, that's awesome.
About 75% said you are. And I was like, oh yeah, no. And then another percentage, Alexa step. And then the other percentage was, I don't know and I don't care.
Ah, I love it.
So they don't know. They don't know how this works. We know how this works. And we think it's important. They don't care. They hired you to sell their house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So where can everyone find you? I personally have went through your boot camps. You provided so much value for us, and in our community, you provide so much value. If somebody wants to follow you or reach out to you, where can they find you?
So on every single account, I have virtual assistants. So just keep that in mind. The only account that I don't is my Instagram. So if you want to talk to me directly, personally, it's Instagram. It's Gogo's Real Estate. So put the @ Gogo's Real Estate and you'll find the lady in the red dress. Regarding my boot camps, if you go to gogosbootcamp.com, that is our social media boot camp. And I think you're a member of that, correct?
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Long time.
You're also an agent attraction bootcamp student as well?
Yes.
So that one is Gogo's.
I'm an OG.
You are. You've been. You probably got it when it was like very, very cheap.
It was the beginning. Yeah, it was the very first one.
Yeah.
Can't get that deal
Really good deal on that.
anymore.
I did it right with the agents that trusted me from day one. They just automatically got everything else that we put into the course. So the social media course is hundreds and hundreds of videos, is everything that I know today from the very ground up, right? So some of the videos are very basic, just for you to make sure that you have everything. And the idea is that we'll build your social media house together, is what I like to call it. And then later on, after I switched to EXP, I brought, I'm actually 2 agents away for bringing 200 agents to the company. Frontline.
From your frontline, 200?
Frontline.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah, so we are 2 agents away for that. And so I built a boot camp on agent attraction. I like to systematize things, even though like I'm a girly girl and all that. I'm still very like nerdy. I like numbers and trackers and systems and sites and click here and Google Drive and all of those things. So I built a whole course on how I attracted these agents, and now I share my knowledge in that. And that one is gogosbootcamp.com/AA. So there are 2 totally different courses. gogosbootcamp.com is social media. gogosbootcamp.com/AA is agent attraction. So you guys can check that out. Also, if you go to my name.com, so if you go to gogobethke.com, if you go to the events tab, we do massive trainings inside of Team Gogo. We do 4 weekly trainings, but once a month, our Wednesday training is open to the public. So our open to the public is always the last Wednesday of every month. If you go to myname.com, and then go to the events, the link is in there, register. We can only take in, I think, 300 people. So first come, first serve, and the room filled up. Sorry, you're out. This one is going to be with Anderson. So this year I paid for a service with a company outside of Vegas to have all of my businesses under one umbrella, to have like a blueprint for everything and asset planning and saving money on my taxable income and all of those things. So I have a tax attorney coming this year. This next week, to kind of just talk about, make sure that your LLCs are set up properly, they're set up in the right state, that you have holding companies, you have a living trust and all of those things, how to reduce your taxable income as a realtor. So all of those things. So that's next Wednesday. So if you keep your eyes on my gogobethke.com and you go to the events tab, you're going to see all of the things that are open to the public, and then you can register and, learn.
Thank you so much. That's a world of knowledge. Thanks for always sharing with us. I feel so fortunate to be able to partner with you. And thanks for spending your time. And
thanks for having me. I love your design. It's so clean.
Oh, thank you. That's the whole point, for it to be clean and simple.
Clean. I love it. It is amazing. I love it. And your video, your intro video was amazing.
Oh, thank you. Wow. Yeah. I'll have to give feedback for that.
You're doing the right things in the right orders.
I appreciate it. Coming from you, it means a lot.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I love it.
All right. Thanks for coming, Gogo. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Bye, guys.
Bye.